This is the 5th Biennial Conference of the Anarcho-Syndicalist Speculative Entomologists Society, held on March 3rd till 5th, 2025. Keynote Address. Before we have the keynote address, we would like to extend our deep appreciation to the Mutualist Institute of Improvisational Theory for hosting A.S.S.E.S for the third time in a row. The keynote address is being held in the Processing Factory Room, otherwise known as the Wall Room, held on March 3rd, 2025 at 2 p.m. The keynote speech's title is Confessions of a Terror Beetle. Keynote speaker is GaBBriel, a.k.a. Blue Beetle, a Time-Traveling Insect Commando. GaBBriel will be speaking in his insect language, Frictive Click, dialect MetaBase 8.2/13b. Simultaneous translation will be provided by myself, Ishmaell B. Tzara. Now, let us welcome our keynote speaker, GaBBriel. The Species War. I am in the future now. I am here, now, fighting in the war. You can call me GaBBriel. From early on, it was pretty obvious the trees would win the war. The fighting that continued was just to determine how much the trees would reduce the rest of us to soot, goo, or servitude. Most of the species war happened before my time, but I was born into a resistance hive and heard all about it. Heard is, of course, the wrong term. Hearing is a human sense that I only know through an implant. But this message is for humans, so I'll make some concessions for your cultural senses. I come from the insects, beetles to be specific. I am a hybrid, but I'm an insect at heart. I fight for the bugs. I'll die as a bug, and I'll husk as a bug. The devices I've built and implanted inside myself will remain as wads of corrosion in my crumbling echoskell, but I'll vanish into others, which is as a bug does, and should. I don't understand why humans couldn't accept the obvious eventuality of the tree's total victory, but that is your problem, or will be your problem, your offspring's problem. Maybe you don't mind the elimination of so many of your own. Maybe you hoped for it, or maybe you knew you could create subhumans to keep yourself in comfort and luxury. You always have your reliance and success in imagining technology. As the saying goes, invention is born from a selfish, crying child. That is what humans do. They adapt to hell and call it heaven, for a while, destroying what is unknown. They imagine a difference. They call it strength, regardless of the waste. I both hated and envied that. I thought I could learn from it and adapt it for my hive. That's why I studied you. That's why I learned to read and make myself a voice box to speak your language, to learn from your destructive genius. I got myself captured by you so I could learn from you, so I could become you, so I could destroy you, so I could help the insects survive. It didn't work the first time I tried, but it is working now. I have learned how to defeat you. I have learned how to weaponize your imaginations against you. Doubt is my perfect weapon. I travel in time to drop such thought bombs on you. Let doubt explode within your brains. Time travel. Time travel is a deceptive term. Time travel doesn't involve much moving geographically. It's more about chronographic trajectory. One doesn't move through time. Rather, one is drawn towards a time and then to a particular time. One derives a time calls. Trajectorying towards the correct time draw is the skill of being called, and it's what a gift does best. The gift derives towards the appropriate moment. Do you understand? No, of course you don't. You barely understand what time is, let alone chronographic trajectory. So for you, I'll use the term time travel. It's inaccurate, but it's what you assume you understand. And humans seldom understand ideas that are not already described in their language, especially when the message is coming from above. It's one of your many blindnesses. So, to save time, I'll talk within your limitations. I'll dumb it down, as you say. You'll feel like you understand, which is all you really want anyway, right? I travel in time a lot. I have made numerous trips to different times. It's how I wage war, how I serve as a soldier for the insects I fight with in the future. Of course, when I say the future, it implies that our existence is a secure eventuality. But that isn't accurate. We could easily not exist. Statistically, there is less chance to exist in this way than to exist in some other way. This way we call reality is miraculous. A 1 in a trillion chance, a singularity. While it is this way, it is fragile and sensitive to change. My job is to eliminate your future. My job is to travel in time and make adjustments that eliminate the human threat from the future. That's what time commandos do. We make insect existence possible because it's not assured. Yours, thankfully, isn't assured either. That is the inherent risk with life, but it is also what makes insect victory possible, and your defeat probable. Whenever I return to the future, things are always different. Some things will have never existed, even though they existed last time I was at that time. But that is the sacrifice we make. Friends, relatives, and partners will have never existed. It is all part of my mission to adjust to the future in the insect's favor and against yours. Sorry to tell you that, but you need to know. This is how a thought bomb works. Doubt and fear are the perfect terrorism, but the delivery system requires your ears. Thanks for helping. My loyalty is to the insects, not merely against the humans. I hope you understand this. Coming to this time, now, with you, is just the method I use for waging war against you in the future. I do it to give insects an advantage. I'm not here to threaten your existence. You are obviously not threatened by a little blue bug. But my mission makes it less possible for humans in the future to exist. If you and your future don't exist, there is no one and nothing to feel threatened, right? There is no danger of burning down a house if it never was built in the first place, right? But I can tell I'm losing you. My message confuses you. Your attention is shifting as your language's vocabulary fails. So let's change topics, shall we? The Insect Sex Mule Mission. I'll tell you about one of my sexy missions. Now you're paying attention, aren't you? Humans like sexy missions, and this mission was literally a sexy mission. It was a human sex act performed by an insect, by me. That makes me an insect sex mule. I definitely think I have your attention now, don't I? Your vocabulary likes sex stuff. When I was a sex mule, I transported a sperm from a man to a womb in his past, 33 years in his past, to be precise. The result is a child who is currently an old man, that is 2 years older than his father. Wrap your human mind around that. Do you want to hear more? Of course you do. I doubt you really want to hear the nitty-gritty details of collecting the squirming sperm and about my particular method of uterine delivery. But let's just say both were very intimate and logistically quite damp. Traveling through time with an ejaculated gift of DNA data isn't actually too difficult. Every body has various moist pockets that are perfectly effective for transporting cellular materials, even the cells of others. How else could diseases be so successful? However, inserting the sperm into a receptive uterus is harder. That requires negotiation skills, persuasion, and a fair bit of storytelling. And maybe right now you're imagining New Testament biblical stuff. Yes? No? Maybe you're wondering, is this rubbery little blue beetle talking about the logistics of Jesus' birth? Is this GaBBriel that GaBBriel of Holy Bible fame? Are we dealing with God's messenger angel here? Actually, the father younger than son example I just told you is not the Jesus incident. But yes, I am that GaBBriel. I handled that famous Annunciation scene. It was one of my biggest military missions to orchestrate history's most famous artificial insemination. And actually, the Jesus incident occurred later in my life than the aforementioned insect sex mule mission, which was to deliver a sperm from 1995 to 1962. The child older than its father mission was the third time I pulled my sex mule mission off. The Jesus incident was the 7th time. Some lucky numbers exist for a secret reason. And why do you think Mary is always shown wearing blue? Besides, I didn't want to risk making a god without enough practice. All bombs require testings, particularly a thought bomb of that magnitude. I work hard to become the master of my disasters, and I'm very proud of how well that mission turned out. We can all see how successful I was at instilling doubt with that one.